Luna says, I think we can safely say that social distancing has died out here in the UK. Although many police vans were on constant patrol, we are and always will be social animals first. Social distance is kind of fading here as well. The parks are opening next week, and restaurants and coffee shops are open already. And so I don't know if it's right or wrong, but we've been conditioned for the past many months to freak when somebody gets close and talks within shorter distance than what we've been accustomed to. So it takes a while for us to recondition ourselves back, I guess. And foremost, any ideas as to how we evolved this way and why and when? I'm intrigued to know. It's a great innate disposition, methinks. Well, the idea that we are social entities, that's how we are. But there is another underlying reason for this interest in interaction and being in a group, whether it's being social or because of necessity. From thousands and thousands of years ago, since man came out of the caves, hence caveman, one particular purpose has been always apparent, and that was been security. We may think that we are being social, but our interaction or interest or inclination towards another person or another group could have sometimes nothing to do with being social, while it looks like the reason is being social, but it is actually in pursuit of security, which there is a certain feeling of security in numbers. And that is because of all the programmings and experiences that we carry in our genes as a memory of thousands and thousands of years ago, with all the dangers and paranoia and wars and attacks and uncertainty and insecurity and uncivility that we were facing and having gone through the history that way. So from the old times, we learned that if somebody, due to scarcity of food and preciousness of survival things that we needed, such as food, and preciousness of women and everything else that was important to the man at the outset, we were being attacked by other individuals to take away our food, to take away our women, and whatever else we had conjured up to make life at a million years ago or 1,000 years ago more comfortable, so to speak, to that standard of the time. And in pursuit of protection from ourselves, we decided that we need to have friends or another entity to increase the possibility and power of defense and protection. So out of necessity, we also became more inclined to be friendly or social or create groups. So we asked another person, so we were now two. And then when other people attacked us, they say, the other person attacked us, they saw that there's two of us. So the attack was repelled. So they went and got two. So we're 2 against 2. And then we got 3 to protect. They got 3. We got 5. They got 5. And the necessity of the creating group and clans and tribes went up just as this example is describing. So did the destruction powers. More people, more destruction power. And then, of course, then that whole thing, which started with greed and selfishness and violence, ended up creating weaponries and wars and groups and bigger groups and clans and tribes, and then eventually villages and so on, and nations. And we're, to this day, we're still destroying each other in order to bring about the security that we thought it can be realized by destruction. To have more stuff, they started attacking us. To repel them, we started gathering groups. And then eventually we got strong enough that we continued what we tried to defend. We started attacking them for more stuff. So we're just by nature a violent human being. And through this violence, instead of learning to deal with the violence, we're trying to bring security while we continue the violence. It's such a ridiculous thesis that you can bring security through violence. And of course, as later on the problem of food was solved and the civility and the laws and regulations resided in the communities of that time, then the food and shelter and comfort and so on were no longer, and the attacks and wars were no longer were of concern. But what was still concern was the psychological security, the feeling of security in here, like, am I going to lose my job? Is my girlfriend or wife going to leave me? Will I be having my car? How about my money? And what about my future and the things that I want to do? All these were psychological security. What about the fear of health? What about the neighbors will think of me? All these were the psychological security. So for that, we started joining groups like the syndications. Doctors have College of Medicine, I guess, or some kind of a syndication, or lawyers have syndication, or different groups have their own syndications. They say, okay, if I join this group, then they have lawyers, and if there's any malpractice, they can support me, they can defend me. So they join the group. And as they join the group, in order to gain psychological security and feeling that they're being protected, other than the physical protection, they lose the very freedom that they're actually seeking by joining that group, because that group itself has mandates and rules that is going to gag them from saying and expressing their own personal opinion, which could be contrary to the policies of the group. So again, in the very pursuit of psychological security, we lose that psychological security. We lose the security. We're giving up security and psychological security in order to actually arrive to it. So it's a chicken and the egg. So you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that policy because that's against our group. Therefore, I just joined here to have that feelings go away, then I feel that I can be free and say what I want to say and be protected. But then you yourself, the group, has policies and gagging orders and things that I cannot talk about. So you lose your freedom in pursuit of that elusive psychological security. So I guess that could be some kind of a topic for you, Luna, perhaps. I hope you enjoyed that, or you can ponder.